that happen. But at-large mail-in voting has not been a thing, and it should not be a thing in this country. It's about election security, not about convenience. Mail-in voting, when combined with dirty voter rolls and combined with ballot harvesting, whether legal or illegal, is the recipe for disastrous elections. So the media covering this event will certainly refer to me as a conspiracy theorist. I just hope they print the phrase electile dysfunction. But it's not a conspiracy. I'm going to point you to the real conspiracy theorists. I'll tell you about Robin Voss, who's the Speaker of the General Assembly in Wisconsin, a Paul Ryan-style Republican, if you can even say that word at all. He said Wisconsin's election was tainted with so much fraud that has never been seen before. Widespread corruption in the election. Of course, they did nothing about it. Jimmy Carter is another conspiracy theorist, and I mean the same Jimmy Carter who's really probably the only person truly happy that Joe Biden is in the White House today. Jimmy Carter was on a bipartisan panel about 15 years ago that said that mail-in balloting is a one-way ticket to fraudulent elections. We need to get away from the mail-in ballots, in-person voting only. Number 5. Of course, mail-in ballots may go anywhere, as you know. Number 5. Ban early voting. Why? Why should we do that? Because we have a prescribed day for voting in our federal elections. We've come to call that Election Day. Imagine what a novel idea that is. What if we were to put the steps in place to get back to voting on one single day? How do we think our elections would go then? It's not election weeks. It's not election month. But in Virginia and in Minnesota, they've been voting in this midterm since September. In Washington State, they've been doing the same thing. So where is the time for an October surprise? All it is a ramp-up time to manipulate elections. Early voting takes its start. 91% of Texas's vote was in before Election Day in 2020. What the Democrats decided to do in the largest cities, this would be Houston, Harris, to one day, one vote. Number 6. Drastically smaller precincts. It sounds a bit boring, but it's essential to get us to point number 8, which I think is really
to understand the flow and what's happening and what to look for. And we damn sure know after everything that we've experienced, because it's not just 2020, it's been going on for a long time, folks. We've got to take back, we the people, if we're going to be consent of the governed, we have to take back our election system. We have to own it. We own it by getting involved. That's the big message. Thank you so much.
Wow, what a presentation. Let's hear one more time for Seth Keshel, ladies and gentlemen.
You heard the man, Captain Seth Keshel, General Michael Flynn. Coming up time to vote, folks. And it's election day, not election month, not election week, right? So don't do the early voting, don't do the mail-in, for goodness sakes, don't do absentee, don't do none of that. Go show up in person. Vote, vote, vote. Can't be afraid. Guess what? Your job legally has to let you go vote. Have to. The law. So, it is imperative that we get out there and vote. Get as many people to go vote as possible. And here's the real catch. I don't even care who you vote for. Not one bit. Do I want folks to vote the same way that I would think to vote? Of course, because I want my vote, my voice to be the one that comes out on top. But I want the people's voice to be heard. The great thing about elections is it's a secret ballot, and that we have the right and the freedom to vote for whom we wish. Really. So, get out and vote, folks. Vote for who you want. Don't worry about who's going to win. Don't worry about none of that. Vote for who you want. And personally, yeah. I hope folks vote Republican, because I want to see a change in this nation for the better. But that's just my opinion. One man's opinion. But that one vote is going to count. Bet. Get out and vote, folks. November 8th. Make sure you're registered. You got to get in there. Get your vote heard. We cannot let them steal these elections. We cannot let them try all these shenanigans that they've done in the last election, for sure. So that's why it is imperative that we go out and we vote on the same day, and we vote in person. They have to let you vote. That's the thing. It's America. There's laws. We have rights and freedoms. But if we don't vote, we just give them away. And that's honestly what January 6th was all about. Election integrity. Elections. They're sacred in our nation. And when we see things that violate the sanctity of our election systems, as Americans, we have a duty to speak up, to say something. And congressmen and women have the duty to hear the American people and to decertify votes that cannot be verified. They have the duty to investigate, to make sure that elections are correct. We went to go redress our grievances to the government, and our representatives did not represent the wishes of the people. They gave a rubber stamp of approval, even though multiple states did say, hey, well, we don't want to certify this stuff, and it got passed by. It got fluffed off to the side. No. Because old Mike, little Mike, not big Mike, but little Mike said he didn't have the authority to change anything, which is a bold-faced lie, because just last year, the year before, whatever, like shortly after the Brandon administration came in here, they tried to change the law that gave him the right, to take away the right that he had, the authority that he had, that he denied. But Anons, we know. Our inmates are sitting in prison right now, being beaten, tortured, just lives destroyed. 950 people arrested, just lives completely upended. And many more to come, because they still haven't stopped arresting folks. It ain't gone away just because the news don't talk about it. So think about that. America, get out there and make your voice count, and vote on election day in person to make sure that your voice counts. And then when you're done, come up here and post a video of you singing the national anthem. And sing your voice loud and proud to shake the walls of Jericho. And make that voice count too. The families and the inmates for J6, they hear it. And it gives them strength, and it gives them hope to know that they're not standing alone. So join us. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Be brave. Sing for freedom.